see you here someday. Yeah, I'm good to my chat. You'll see. And whether you're watching live or later on, please hit the like button. It really does help this channel a lot. For those of you watching live, thank you so much. Should be a good time. I'm set to go when the timer hits 0, so sit tight. Hey, hey, hey. How's everyone doing? Let me just do this. You know, I've decided that fading out audio is way too complicated for the return, so I'm just gonna cut it like that. That's right. No rules. Geez. How's everyone doing? Let me say, hey, Frank, glad you're here. Should be a fun time. You already hit like. Thank you very much. Hey, did I? No, I didn't. Ooh, there we go. That's where the lower third is. Thank you very much, Darth Shady. Um, let me. Yes. So this is a very excited. This is a very exciting time. First of all, happy May the 4th to people who care about that stuff. I personally don't. I'm a very casual Star Wars fan. But yeah, it's fun. It's running. It's turning out to be SydStream's our date night with husband. Aw, that's so cute. Thank you so much. Very flattering. At least I know one of you is going to remember. Hey, by the way, it's very possible that we won't be playing Stardew Valley tonight. I just want to warn you right now. There's a real possibility because I don't know what tonight's segment is going to be. Yeah, actually, let me finish off the first thought I was saying. So, this is an exciting night because this is my first stream of May. And for those of you who were here a couple weeks ago, I, um, I did the I did a short rant on how the 10,000 hour rule is kind of true and kind of not true. The really important thing to keep in mind is that 10,000 hours is to become like world class, one of the best in the world at something, whereas to become competent at something, you need about 20 hours. And since I started this stream in January, and sadly, I can't do this more than 1 hour a week for now, Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. I will hit 20 hours in at the end of this month. So the first stream of June will be my first stream as a competent streamer. So yeah, we'll see. As far as date nights with Penny go, Darshady, and hi Evo, glad you can make it. The Yeah, it really depends on how long this research is going to do, and that is part of. That's also part of why this is an experiment because streamers have the advantage that they can actually do research live, and I think with the interest of critical race theory, it would be entertaining potentially for me to do this on stream. I'll do that later. But first, a couple anecdotes. I want to shout someone out. Let me go right here, find his channel. Like, I'd heard of this guy before. I'd seen him like interact with some streamers I like, mainly Destiny, but I want to shout out Booksmarts. I watched a stream of his and I fucking fell in love. For those of you who may have noticed, at the beginning of this stream, I spoke to the people watching the VOD after the fact. I got that from him. What he does, despite himself, is debate reviews, and he's really good at it. Like really good. It's really amazing when someone when I fall in love with someone, I'm always really curious of what their talent stack is and what their background is. So even though I don't know much about this guy, he's so good at reviewing debates that it's really amazing, and I'm curious to know more about him. Speaking of talent stacks, I no, actually, before going on this tangent, I just want to finish my thought on Booksmarts. He like an advantage. Whoops, those are my notes. An advantage that he has is, unlike people in a debate, he can like pause and rewind and go after them break it down line by line and really like dig deep and catch things that are virtually impossible to catch like in the heat of the moment. And yeah, I'm really curious to know more about uh, where his ability to do this lies. And frankly, I want to become a patron of his. I probably will soon. Hey, actually, this brings up another tangent. Remember when I said that the next investment I want to make for this stream is a decent mic? I want to get a proper mic. And I said that if I get an actual mic before the end of the year, that's going to be a wild success. Well, it turns out that that might happen like a lot sooner than I thought would happen. So that's going to be really cool. Yeah. Yes. A notion on talent stacks. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the term, I picked up that term from Scott Adams, who is one of my favorites. And the notion of a talent stack is that you're not necessarily the best at something, but if you pick up just the right skills that combine in interesting ways, you can be better in the aggregate of what you can do than people who are like hyper specialized at one thing, and you don't need to become world class. You don't need those 10,000 hours. So if you spend like 20 hours in the right things, that can help you get better. And as far as streaming goes, what gives me confidence is that I think I have a good talent stack for this because everyone watching live probably knows this, but I did improv for about 6 years or 5 years or something like that. And I did improv both on stage and in the tech booth. And it gave me yes, exactly, Evo. You can become uniquely qualified to do certain rare and unusual useful things. So, what gives me confidence as a streamer and what makes me wish I could do this more to like, you know, get those hours in faster is that as an improviser, I would improvise on stage, but I also teched, and you can ask anyone. To be quite frank, I was a damn good tech for improv, and streaming kind of combines both because I'm on stage right now and I'm also in the tech booth, and it's I'm really curious to see how that evolves. One last anecdote before we start. Is it the last anecdote? No, it's not. Okay. I just want to say that I went to a birthday party this weekend, and it was in the park, and I was really happy with how it turned out. I saw some people that I hadn't seen in a while. And to be quite frank, I was a little worried going in there because, the COVID restrictions have been pretty strict in Quebec. And I won't say I'd rather not go into detail as to what I saw in that park, but I was really disturbed. I was worried before the fact, and I'm really happy with what I saw in that park. Just to be clear, I just want to tell you that the SydStream strongly endorses all COVID restrictions and encourages you to follow them to the best of your ability. Contact your local authorities for more information. So yeah, I was really happy with what I saw in that park. I just want to point that out. And yeah, I had a blast. It was really fun. The last anecdote that I want to cover before digging into the research is I saw. Actually, you know what? Let me just dig something up before because I can show you here. I'm glad that landed. Let me see here. Yeah, look at this. So, going into detail wouldn't be worth the effort, but like in details, this video is about 10 views away from overtaking the bullet journal video. So I'm really happy with this as most watched in this channel's history. That's really cool. And this segues because on Sunday, Ben Shapiro had Jordan Peterson on his show. And I was watching the segment, and I can't really think of a clip to play. Actually, there might be. But the bottom line is, Ben was having Jordan on as a to talk more about the whole Red Skull Ta-Nehisi Coates thing, and it's really like for this video I kind of lucked out, and I've said this before so I won't elaborate too much, but I really got lucky. I was perfectly prepared for a proper analysis of this study because I read Captain America. I'm familiar with the intellectual dark web, okay? And it happened on a Tuesday, so I could just pounce on it. Now, what really frustrates me in general is that a lot of people focus on that fucking one panel where it's undeniable that that Jordan Peterson is being, portrayed as the Red Skull. Ooh, I'm not logged into Twitter. Let me take a second and fix that. Wait. Shit. There we go. Good. Ooh, no, 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 no. People, man. Um, I don't care what anyone says. Using Twitter not in dark mode is fucking lame and will get you on my potential sociopath list. But anyway, now that I'm back, the this panel here is undeniably Jordan Peterson, right? And what was, hey Henry, glad you could make it. The That panel when Ben was asking Jordan Peterson like what it was like to be portrayed as the Red Skull. I was sitting there in my couch and I shouted at my TV. I shouted, "You're the Red Skull too, Ben!" And as I covered, like it's not, yes, that one panel is undeniable, but it's a critique on the intellectual dark web as a whole or the alt-right rabbit hole as a whole, and Ben Shapiro is very much a part of that. Like, as much as this thing is Jordan Peterson, the Red Skull could very easily have been like having sitting at a desk with a laptop in front of him that says like Daily Hydra in front of him, and like the Red Skull show behind him and shit like that. Like, let me there, this, the Red Skull panel could just as easily have been this, which is, kind of frustrating. Oh, now it's a clip. Okay, I don't want to play this. Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah, let me. I think that'll be it for now. Let's get right into the jitty nitty gritty. All right. Like trading on a light theme platform. Uh, yeah, we've spoken of that before, and uh, I know your reasons. I still think it's lame, and good thing I clicked on something harmless before realizing that my browser was still on stream. All right. What do I have to prepare for this? Actually, there isn't much. That's the whole point. Okay. Listen, it's 10:15. Depending on how long this lasts, we may or may not have time to play Stardew Valley. I'm saying that to you, Darth Shady. You've been warned. Um, that was a little premature. I was commenting on something that you're not aware of. Sorry about that. All right, so let me take a sip of water and then we can do it. Awesome. Someday I hope to not be able to keep up with the chat. That's gonna be cool. But the ultimate thing that I gotta do is just keep streaming and hopefully have clips that'll persuade people to say, "Hey, I want to catch this live." So yeah, actually, I just remembered something else that I can prepare because I want to shout this person out. Let's see here. If you had given us a heads up, could have been a simultaneous sip. Yeah. Jeez. Every sip is a simultaneous sip, Evo. Someone's sipping on something somewhere. Actually, let me just go to my channel. And here. Let me find his comment. No. Okay, I think I'll sort them by newest first. Sid, the chat is on the left of your video feed, like. Oh, I could do that very easily, Frank, but I just want, you know, I just don't think the chat is active enough right now. But it's in the works. Yeah. Where is it? I put it by newest first? Yeah. Okay. Where is he? Well, screw it. I can't. I can't find him here. Let me see. Yeah, like adding the chat to OBS is really easy. It's just a browser source, and I'm looking at the URL for the chat right now, and I could very easily add it, but you know, having like a chat from like the beginning of the segment still on screen, I just don't think it's too soon. It's too soon for that. Okay, let me just get his name. Fuck it, and then we can start. OBS fucking rules, honestly. And man, there's this big. I don't know how big it actually is, but this big debate between whether OBS Studio is better than Streamlabs OBS or the opposite. But I'm ideologically biased. If you give me the choice between two pieces of software, and one of them is open source on the GNU license and the other is not, I'm gonna try to do the open source one. It would take really terrible UX, which most open source software has, for me to like opt towards the non GNU one. It's just, man, I fucking love the GNU general public license. Did he delete? Oh no, there we go. Okay, well, he either deleted his comment or I can't find it. That's too bad. So, let's get started. Oh, you could also pick individual comments to appear on screen when you decide it's worth it. That actually is a great idea. Frank, thank you for suggesting that. I'll see if there's a way I can do that. I know I suspect people who do that are using StreamYard, and that seems really easy in there. but I don't know if there's a way to do it in OBS. But that's a really really good idea. Thank you. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna remember this because it's too good. All right, let's focus. Critical race theory. You may have heard of it. You might even have a strong opinion on that. If you already do, this video probably you probably won't like it. Yeah, I noticed critical race theory was trending over the last couple days, and I can't really figure out why. It's not exactly a new thing. The most likely source of why people are all of a sudden talking about it more was some Texas school board person who said they wanted they wanted to ban critical race theory from their schools. I'm not really sure, but one thing that I do know is people are talking about it. A recent comment on my YouTube channel like asked me about it, and I decided, you know what? So many people have really strong opinions about this, and quite frankly, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Shocker. Some people have really strong opinions on things that they don't know shit about. So I decided this is going to be a good opportunity to link into it. I'm a streamer now, so I can do this research on stream, find out what I can, and hopefully it'll be interesting to you. Just as a primer to tell you where I'm coming from, the I guess the closest thing to being exposed to critical race theory came from the time where friend of the show Vash appeared on the Timcast, and they didn't talk about it a lot, but Vash kind of planted the seed that people who most of the like politicians especially who criticize critical race theory probably couldn't even define it. So I'm going to attempt, because in that conversation it was kind of worthless. Yeah, it's really hard to have these kinds of conversations with someone like Tim Pool. I can elaborate on that some other time, but it would be a diversion tonight. But there's one thing that is absolutely that you have to know about Vosh, and I say this as someone who likes him. I like Vosh so much that I made that splash screen that you saw earlier. About how I bring him up so much. But Vosh is a consequentialist rhetorician. And you always have to keep that in mind. And not only that, I know that a couple months ago he went on Destiny's stream, and they had a conversation. And Jesus Christ, if someone walked away from that conversation choosing to never believe anything Vosh says ever again, I couldn't blame them. It was a really bad performance for him. But I think that Vosh is sincere enough, often enough, to not necessarily. I don't think it's wise to just, dismiss everything he says offhand. However, and Vosh actually did study in sociology. But being a consequentialist rhetorician, if there is a dark underbelly to critical race theory, Vosh is not the person who will say this in public. So let's find out what we can. I have a literal blank slate here. The only thing I did was, title this document. And yeah, actually, this is good. I'm going to build this. This is almost certainly going to be a series, because something as complex as critical race theory, you can't really do justice to this in under an hour. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a series. If you like this, please hit the like button, leave your questions or comments below, and I'll gladly take that into account. It'll give me a better idea as to how much of this research that I will continue doing on stream versus off stream. But let's define some parameters here. And chat, if you think there's something I'm missing, please let me know. Evo, please, no walls of text. All right. Let's see. Yes. So the key question is, what is it? What is critical race theory? That's what we're getting at. Actually, yeah, this should be good for you and for me. So, what is it? I think a key part to answering what it is who is behind it and when, which will bring us to the why. I doubt we're gonna get to why tonight, but yeah, I don't think I don't think where and how are relevant, to be honest. So I'm just gonna leave those for now. So right now, I think we're gonna focus on what critical race theory is, and for that, we're gonna start with Wikipedia. And I know that I've gotten into arguments on Wikipedia back in the day. I think Wikipedia is a great place to start research. I think if that's all that you limit yourself to, it's very virtually impossible to walk away with like an accurate view of what it is. But it's a good place to start. And also, I would say that, and I'm sure most of you would agree, Wikipedia probably has like a center left to left bias. So I expect the Wikipedia entry for critical race theory to be pretty charitable to it. So I want to be transparent about that. So let us go critical race theory wiki. Oh, and the main thing that I wanted to convey also is, and I won't be zooming in the Wikipedia, that I won't. But remember back at the beginning of this segment when I said most people who have a strong opinion on critical race theory don't know what the fuck they're talking about? I am sure that despite the center left to left bias that I'm assuming, just reading this article will put you ahead of most people who have a really strong opinion on it. Yeah, that is the sad state of online discourse. I remember once Destiny's chat asked him like, "How do you stay so informed on all these different topics?" And his answer, and he says this over and over again, is like, honestly, just read the whole article, and that in itself will put you ahead of most people who cite it and just read the headline, maybe the first paragraph. So let's do the same to this article right here. Take a swig of water. Actually, since I'm here and I am building this research document, let me put the link to the wiki here. Whoops. There we go. That way we can return to it later. All right, let's do this. Critical race theory, or CRT, is an academic movement. Okay, so right there, it's academic, which means it's going to be really complex. And academia, depending on the science, and I don't mean to poison the well right away, but academics have the option, the ability to just bury meaning in all these layers of rhetoric and complicated notions. So again, this sounds very well poisony, but I just want to point it out. So it's an academic movement of civil rights scholars and activists in the United States who seek to critically examine the law as it intersects with issues of race and to challenge mainstream liberal approaches to racial justice. Okay. CRT examines social, cultural, and legal issues as they relate to race and racism. Okay. So far, so good. This here confirms what I suspected, which is that you know, critical race theory, presumably based on this and what the little that I knew, it kind of rests on intersectionality. So let's take a closer look. I'm sure, actually, oof, I I just cut this word internalization. I'm getting ready for the cringe. All right, but what I really wanted to do, intersectionality. Okay, cool. But intersectional is in here twice. Yeah, exactly. Intersectional theory. But this is much later on. So let's go back to the beginning here. Okay, CRT originated in the mid 70s in the writings of American legal scholars, including Derek Bell, Kimberly Crenshaw, Richard Delgado, and Cheryl L. Harris. Whoever this guy is, Charles R. Lawrence III, Mary Matsuda, and Patricia J. Williams. Okay. I opened a bunch of tabs and kind of gave up. So I'm going to assume for now that. Did I skip over Alan Freeman? I might have. Anyway, love how many major theme items there are. Yeah, well, it's academic. It's a field of academic study in the social sciences. So we got to be ready for that, Evo. So yeah, we'll see. Now, one thing that I want to know, actually, let's go here. When? Mid 1970s. Who I'm going to, how am I going to do this? You know what? I'm just going to copy paste the links to their individual wikis because we won't have time to go into this tonight. But you know what? Let's just go with the first three people that have their wikis. So that's Derek. Alan doesn't have his own wiki. Kimberly and Richard Delgado. I'm sure the other names will come out as well. And here, let's see if I can. Nice. I'm going to do this for each one. Whoops. Fucking A. Yes. Yes. Good. So we have three of the people, and I'm actually going to note. No, fuck these. Wait. Boom, boom, boom. We can come back here. Alan Freeman. He is the second name after Derek Bell. I don't know why he doesn't have a wiki entry, but no. No, okay. This would take too long, so I'm just going to write his name, and it was the second one here. So Alan. Okay, so let's continue reading. CRT emerged as a movement by the mid 80s. Okay, reworking theories of critical legal studies with more focus on race. Okay, in Vosh's appearance on the Timcast, he mentioned this like, oh, critical race theory is just a racial lens to critical theory. So I'm assuming that this might be relevant. Hopefully, okay, let's finish this and see if the first paragraph of this can help us. Yeah, exactly. Critical theory. We were going to get to it. Of course we were. All right. So, actually, where's when? Mid 70s to mid 80s. All right. Both CRT and CLS were rooted in critical theory, okay, yeah, which argues that social problems are influenced are influenced and created more by societal structures and cultural assumptions than by individual and psychological factors. Ooh, okay. Jeez, I'm not gonna open these wikis, but this, I'm sure. Oh man, this right here could probably be an entire like 6 months of study just for this. And yeah, I'm just giving a quick overview in one segment. I'm not gonna be able to get this, but there's one thing though that I do want to put out there while I have your attention. Intersection. I hate the term intersectionality. I usually call it intersectionalism. So when you hear me say that, that's what I mean. Okay. So I'm somewhat familiar with intersectionalism in the sense that it kind of analyzes societal factors from the different vectors that can influence your perception of a situation, commonly known as vectors of oppression. I'm sure that'll come up. But shit, where was I going with this? Yeah, race is one vector, but something like I'm sure a bunch of people they kind of just mentally shut off as soon as where is it? Critical theory. Wait, why am I going off on this tangent on intersectionalism? Listen, I just want to. What I was getting at is that class is one of those vectors, and if you have like intersectional analysis of a situation and you ignore class, it could lead to some really crazy conclusions. Like the notion that Oprah Winfrey is more oppressed than some white guy in a trailer park because she's black and she's a woman is crazy. However, if you either ignore class or minimize its importance, I'm sure there's some theorists who would argue in that favor. And a friend of mine who's in the chat has apparently had people argue that to him, and that's crazy. Yeah, and the funny thing is, the notion that class is one of the vectors that intersectionalism considers or can consider. I learned that from a leftist podcast. So in in theory, it kind of is known, and it's difficult for me to imagine why. It's difficult for me to imagine why like people would either ignore that or not pay attention to it. It's really weird. You just destroyed many of Robin DiAngelo's interview arguments. Absolutely, and this is something I've mentioned on stream before. The online left or the far left, they understand that Robin DiAngelo's is grifting. They know this. The only people who are fooled by this white fragility shit is boomer liberals and like corporate corporate HR departments. Like if you if you go on Twitter, I'm sure you'll see a bunch of people with fucking hammer and sickle emojis in their fucking names making fun of Robin DeAngelis. This isn't a controversial thing. If you look for it, you'll find it. I hear lefties complaining about. I hear lefties complaining about the white fragility training program or the white fragility umbrella of corporate training products all the time. So yeah. All right, let's go back to this wiki. Where was I? Yeah, man, this is gonna take a while to unpack. So let's finish here. CRT is loosely unified by two common themes. First, that white supremacy exists and maintains power through the law. Second, that transforming the relationship between law and racial power and also achieving racial emancipation and anti-subordination more broadly are possible. Critics of CRT argues that it relies on social constructionism, elevates storytelling over evidence and reason, rejects the concepts of truth and merit, and opposes liberalism. Okay, so this, like again, just now with what we've read, and let's be frank, we just read like the intro to the fucking wiki. You're already ahead of most people, spewing all their fucking strong opinions on critical race theory on Twitter. Just saying. So, what do I want to look at first? Actually, I think critical theory is going to be important. Um, yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's cover definitions first, and then we can jump over to critical race theory, to critical theory. So, Roy L. Brooks. Let's add it. Let's add Roy's name. There. So, Roy L. Brooks defines CRT in 1994 as a collection of critical stances against the existing legal order from a race based point of view. Richard Delgado, who, yeah, we have named. Okay. Richard Delgado, a co founder of CRT. Ooh, okay. Co founder. You know what? I'm just adding this as a note. I'll look into that later. So, Richard Delgado, a co founder of CRT, defined CRT in 2017 as a collection of activists and scholars. So, CRT is people? Okay. So, a co founder of CRT defines it as people interested in studying and transforming the relationship among race, racism, and power. Okay. Tommy J. Curry. No. Let's do it. Will this copy the link too? No, it won't. Okay. Like that. Tommy J. Curry defines CRT as the view that the law and legal institutions are inherently racist and that race itself, instead of being biologically grounded and natural, is a socially constructed concept that is used by white people to further their economic and political interests at the expense of people of color. Man, I don't know how familiar you are with this stuff, but that sounds cringy on its face. But the argument for that is stronger than you might initially think. An example that comes to mind, which I'm sure Tommy J. Curry cited because it's such an obvious example. Irish people are considered white by today's standards, but back in the day, they were. I don't know what they were considered, but Irish people were were probably treated vastly different based on the fact that they're Irish, right? I don't want to venture too far as to like whether or not they were considered to be white, but I'm sure we've all seen the Irish need not apply. Oh, myth? Oh, might be a myth. Well, it's contested. Oh, Vox. Next. Let me just find a picture instead of going down another rabbit hole. Uh, anyway, this is apocryphal. I'm not an expert in this, but the point I'm going at is that, you know, race being socially constructed and used by white people to further their economic and political interests, the argument for that is stronger than you might think at first. All right. So I think that'll be it for this page. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. I really want to cover critical theory before wrapping up. Yeah, let's do it. Listen, let's cover critical theory because it's important too. So I'm going to whoops. All right, and I'm going to put a link to this wiki here. Oh, like that. Yeah, that'll do. So let's cover critical theory, at least the first couple of paragraphs or two. For some unknown reason, that third definition just has very real, hit me as very real based on personal observations and feeling. Take that for what it's worth. Yeah, um, I wait the third definition. So this one, yeah. Thank you for sharing, Henry. I get it. I you know I've spoken on this stream before about how like I don't often think of the fact that I'm black, but if something will fucking yank me back into my blackness like that, it's the presence of a cop. That'll like, oh, I better be on my best behavior like right now, or else I might die. So yeah, I know that cops are a threat to everyone. But growing up black, it's as a black man, especially. Whew, yeah. All right, let's try to cover some critical theory, and that'll be that. All right, let's do it. Critical theory, also capital. Okay, yeah, is an approach to social philosophy that focuses on reflective assessment and critique of society and culture in order to reveal and challenge power structures. Man, intersectionalists talk about power all the time. That is crazy. Intersectionalists talk about power almost as much as Nazis do. Just saying. All right. Um, so, with origins in sociology and literary criticism. Okay, yeah. It argues that social problems are influenced and created more by societal structures and cultural assumptions than by individual and psychological factors, meaning that ideology is the principal obstacle to human liberation. Okay. Critical theory was established as a school of thought primarily by the Frankfurt School. I've heard the term Frankfurt School a lot in the past. I opened up another tab. We'll bookmark it for later. So yeah, it was established primarily by the Frankfurt School theoreticians Herbert Marcuse, Theodore Adorno, Walter Benjamin, Eric Form, and Max Horkheimer. Okay. Horkheimer described a theory as critical insofar as it seeks to liberate human beings from the circumstances that enslave them. Okay. Let's continue. In sociology and political philosophy, critical theory means the Western Marxist philosophy of Frankfurt School. Oh, is this a postmodern neo Marxist meme? I don't know, but let's continue. Listen, I'm just gonna like blast through the rest of this because this tangent is a little too much for like this segment. But let's at least get it out there, and we can circle back and see in another segment. And again, if you want, like, if this exploration is interesting to you, please let me know in the comments below because I'm interested in this stuff. I think there's value in discovering it in public, and yeah. But of course, like if nobody cares, then I'll just look it up myself on my own time, you know. But yeah, I'm kind of like using my streamer privilege to look things up in public, and hopefully my 2 cents are interesting. All right, where was I? developed in Germany in the 1930s and drawing ideas of Karl Marx and Sigmund Freud. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. Though a critical theory or critical social theory may have similar elements of thought, capitalizing critical theory as if it were a proper noun stresses the intellectual heritage specific to the Frankfurt School. Okay. Modern critical theory has also been influenced by Georgi Lucas and Antonio Gramsci, as well as second generation Frankfurt School scholar. Okay, so this is just a bunch of Frankfurt School people. So yeah, in Habernas's work, critical theory transcended its theoretical roots in German idealism. Okay, let's open up a tab for this. And progressed closer to American pragmatism. Concern for social base and superstructure, Jesus, is one of the remaining Marxist philosophical concepts in much contemporary critical theory. Postmodern. I called it. I fucking called it. Oh, jeez. Postmodern critical theory analyzes the fragmentation of cultural identities in order to challenge the, modernist era constructs such as meta narratives, rationality, and universal truths, while politicizing social problems by situating them in historical and cultural contexts to implicate themselves in the process of collecting and analyzing data and to relativize their findings. All right. Um, I like the subject, but by God, do I hate academics? Oh, I hear you. Spoiler alert: a lot of academics hate academics. I don't know if I don't know how many academics you've been around, but yeah, uh, from my experience, and again, my experience in higher education was in computer science, so it's kind of a hard science in the sense that it's math. But yeah, if you want if you want to hear someone bitch about academia, ask an academic. I'm sure there's something that they will bitch about to hell and back, you know. But yeah, the final thing I wanted to mention, and this kind of gives me hope. You know, the whole meme that Jordan Peterson often throws out of postmodern neo-Marxism. I, you know, obviously he says that term a lot, right? But the reason why I personally shy away from using that term, and I never did to my knowledge in public anyway, is that I don't want to use a term that I don't understand. And I learned this back in the day when I was like a Stefan Molyneux zealot, and every other thing that I would say, and Evo, you were there for that. Every other thing I would say, I would start by, well, Stefan says blah blah blah, and at the slightest pushback, it would kind of I would kind of devolve into other Molyneux quotes and whatever. So really, that period when I came out on the other side of that, that's when I realized that it's really important to just not appeal to things that you can't define in your own terms. So when I saw when I saw people pushing back against the postmodern neo-Marxism meme that Jordan Peterson popularized, I instantly knew, like, holy shit, whatever he means by postmodern neo-Marxism, I'm probably out of my depth if I go there. So I'm just gonna stay away from it. Whatever I can criticize in my own words, I'll do that. And yeah, so listen, that's it for this installment of Sydney Learns About Critical Race Theory. I don't know what this series is going to be called, but I am going to continue this. Maybe not every week, but definitely I want to pursue this rabbit hole. So, hey, thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please like the video. And please leave your questions, comments, and observations in the comments below. I respond to almost all my comments. And yeah, I hope to hear you. I hope to see you in the chat I do this every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Oh, my index was just another. All right, let me stop. No, another hour. You want to go another hour? Jesus. Hey, Mr. Kaufman. Uh, Glad you could make it. Listen, it's 5 to 11. I Yeah, I was considering asking people if they want me to play Stardew Valley. I know Darth Shady's gonna vote yes. Um, okay, Darth Shady, your vote doesn't count. Does anyone want me to play a day in Stardew Valley? Yes or no? Your indifference will be taken as a no, and then we can just wrap up. Okay, one yes from Evo. I mean, a day is like 10 to 20 minutes depending on how I play it. Oh, I love you, Darth Shady, but you're always going to vote yes. That's why your vote doesn't count. I've already counted. Your vote has already been counted as a yes. That's what that was about. Uh, oh yeah, thank you very much, Frank. For yeah. So yeah, one yes, one meh. Let's see. You know what? Let's do this. Oh, that was misleading. I'm gonna pick my words very carefully. By let's do this, what I meant was leave it to chance. All right. No, this doesn't count. So, uh, heads we play Stardew Valley. Tails we do not. Well, there you have it. Thank you very much for watching. It's wrapping up the stream 3 minutes early is totally fine. Uh, yeah. Let me just go over here. All right. It's been a blast. I'm getting up super early tomorrow. But yeah, thank you very much for indulging me. I'm really fascinated about this stuff, and I hope to see you next week. I don't know if I'll be pursuing this next week or not. We'll see if stories break, but I'll definitely be advancing this in my own time because saving this for just the stream would be too much. But that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.